Is that better? Yeah, so I ain't so overexposed. What's good? 2 minutes late. It's fine though. I got some notes today because I'm gonna be talking about a whole lot. Let me see how many people are in here. All right, so I'm not gonna waste any time. I know people are gonna jump in, and then people are gonna like probably go back and watch the live stream. Or I hope you do. If you don't, or if this stuff is just too heavy for you or too crazy for you, I get it. But this is like I was saying in the community post. First of all, I think I screwed something up. One thing actually. See if I can edit it. If not, it's fine. Okay. Yep. Once it's done, it's done. So you guys still retirement, bro. You guys still might have a bit of a delay. I didn't change that today, but it should be fine. Just make sure that you get your questions in or whatever. All right, so let's start. First, I'm gonna say before I start, I'm gonna sound insane. I'm gonna sound crazy. But if you want to make a breakthrough, if you want to be outstanding and separate yourself from your peers and everybody else and what they're doing, you eventually got to try some crazy shit. So trying crazy stuff, reading crazy stuff. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. So just believe me at your own risk. You should always listen and consider anyone that says anything to you, first of all. At least consider it. Even if it's a homeless man or millionaire, doesn't matter. At least consider it. So yeah, that's that. Sure, I'm good on the. I'm gonna change one thing, but today it's about law of attraction, but I'm not gonna call it law of attraction, and there's a reason for that I want to get into. Let me change this filter really quick. The reason why I'm not gonna call it law of attraction. There it is. Turn that filter off. I'm just gonna be like square today. Just whatever. The reason why I'm not gonna call it law of attraction, yeah, it was good, man, is because certain words, when you say certain words, they're meant for a certain group of people. And I call it commanding things to be true. If I want something, I'm going to sit and I'm going to command it to be true. I'm not going to say, oh, I am on this frequency with this bicycle that I really want, or I'm on this frequency with 1,000 subscribers in a month. I'm not going to say any of that. I command 1,000 subscribers to be true in my life. Now, period. And you can use this mindset to command a lot of stuff in your life away, and you can use it to command things towards you. But as men, we should watch what we say. And I've discovered that commanding things brings things towards you and makes things happen. So that's kind of like the basis of this advice. This advice is probably going to be it's just going to be a long ass video. That's the basis of my advice, to command things to be true. And you have to actually say these things. You can't just like think them. You have to say it. So when I learned this kind of technique, I was watching Billy Carson. Billy Carson is with Forbidden Knowledge, and he researches a lot of ancient knowledge, a lot of spiritual knowledge. And I started seeing results in 3 days. It's been about 2 months since I've been using it. And I will tell you, it works in bringing things in my life, but sometimes it's not as accurate as I would like it to be. So you have to really, really work at it. You have to really work at it being accurate. and on time. So if I command something in my life to be true and it is not as accurate as I want it to be, I typically add more qualifiers or more what's the word that I'm looking for? Adjectives? I don't know. It's early, but adverbs and things like that. Descriptive words, like as many as possible. If I want to command, let's say, a job interview, I command a job interview in my life today as I'm meditating or as I'm writing the work. And if it happens, but it's like weird or not from the company that I want or from like late or whatever the case or at the wrong time, then I started adding qualifiers to that and making sure that I am as accurate as possible. And we're going to get into why this is scientific and all of that. I just want to warm you guys up. So let's start with a scenario. Like, you want an extramarital relationship with another individual. You want a sexual relationship with a person that you know, but it's not working or whatever the case. Sometimes to tweak that power of yours, because this is a superpower, you're going to realize that it's a superpower. It's something that's given to you at birth. Sometimes you have to say, okay, now I command understanding. And that takes that to kind of like troubleshoot your superpower there. But it's kind of like, I don't know if you watch basketball, you watch Steph Curry. Steph Curry works on his jumper, works on his jump shot, or any sports figure works on their form or whatever the case. But form is like 1% of it. 99% of it is commanding the basket to go in the, commanding the ball to go in the basket with your mind and your ability to command as a man. So I think we get that. My rule though, like if I command something to be true, if I command something to actually be in existence in my life and it doesn't happen, or if it's weird, I'm giving myself a 36-hour block of time. And we'll get into this in a minute. So let's get into like the quantum physics as to why this works, right? So, and this is where I get a little bit weird. And I promise you that I would. So we're made up of 7 major chakras. We're made up of literal stardust. We're made up of encoded letters in our DNA that spell the universal creator. We're made up of all that. And by the way, I'm going to say again, if you have like I'm seeing the comments now, so I'm reading them. I got Robert, Isaiah, and the Linux boy. If you have a disagreement or if you have a comment, just please don't hesitate to kind of like challenge me, but don't argue in anger, because that kind of vibe ain't allowed here. We have a chemical in our brains called ATP. This ATP, I don't know if you want to research it, is let me see if I can research ATP here. ATP, here we go. This chemical, adenosine triphosphate, has been linked with a spiritual connection in our brain, and it's almost as if we're receiving messages from stars as far as our instructions and our birthright, our ability to command things to be true. And so that's why when I promised you that I would link spirituality to science and get you some actual success about it, like some success talk, this is where we are. So to think about adenosine triphosphate, this is the second most important discovery next to DNA. And as you notice, like it's not really talked about much because not everybody can handle this information, which I'm going to get into that too. Not everybody can handle this information, which is why I feel like this video might be in danger of being taken down. But in a nutshell, you need to also know that there is a kind of a yin and a yang to this thing. So the negative portion of ATP, or the negative version of ATP, is ADP. And not everyone has the same amount of ADP and ATP. And in addition, you have to do things like be healthy, drink water, say positive things, go after certain positive things in your life to produce more ATP. And again, this is the literal connection from your brain to the stars that are thinking, living, breathing stars. We'll get into that as well. I hope I haven't lost anybody. Oh, man. We're just getting started. We're just getting warmed up. So you're probably asking how I don't want to say know all of this, how I kind of like, what's the word that I'm looking for here? How would I come to this conclusion? I'm going to get into this too, but there are books out there like The Keys of Enoch, the Book of Enoch, what's another book? The Urantia book. All of these books that are out there. And I'm a little bit blurry here. Let me see if I can unblur myself so that you see that I'm serious. So there's that. Now let me go back and kind of continue. So when you need something in your life or you want to work on something in your life, whatever the case, work on commanding it. Work on commanding your desires to be true. And I don't care what they are, like at least at first, until you know that it works. Work on commanding your desires to be true. And you know me as a technical guy, so I'm going to give you technical advice. This isn't going to be like, just believe it and you have it. No, I'm going to give you technical advice, bro, because that's what I do. So when you're first doing this, again, for me, it takes like 3 days. But again, as you do it, you're going to know it works. But then you're going to see like, man, there's errors in this shit. And I need to start fixing some things. So the first thing that you're probably going to try to manifest, or you're going to try to like modify in your life is money. And with money comes time. And there is a thing about time that is very, I don't know, what's the word for this? It's very interesting, very conspicuous. Oh, no, that's not the word. Peculiar when it comes to all of this stuff. So if you, let's just say, for example, if you sit, and this is after you become advanced and you're sharpened with your command spirit, which, by the way, your want and your need to command things is your spirit. If you were to command, let's just say, a treadmill, a new pair of shoes, money for the rent, a car, anything like that, don't include time with your command. The reason is, when you make that command, that is about changing something in you and changing something very close to you. If you were to command a check for $1 million, 1 million subscribers, something grand, something that requires a lot of people, you want to include time with that. And the reason is, as men, we don't really have to, let me make sure I speak correctly here. We don't really have to think in time if we don't want. But if we're including other people, the fabric between us, besides love, the fabric between us and other human beings is time. So if we want to go to work or whatever the case, we have to show up at a certain time, or else it just doesn't work. But if we're on our own and we're meditating and we're manifesting things to be true, we don't have to include time in our commands if what we need doesn't require other people, like on a big scale. I know I'm sounding crazy right now, bro, but it might not make sense, but it's going to at least produce something that you can research at least and then dig your teeth into. So let's talk about something that I like to call command confidence credit. Once you know this power, and once you use this power enough, what'll end up happening is you'll start to boost another credit score. Now, I don't know in your country, maybe they use credit scores, maybe they don't. I think in pretty much all established countries, they use credit scores. But essentially, you have a score where it's like, okay, you may not have the money, but since you have a score, we can loan you money, or we can give you extra room on your credit card to like buy extra stuff, right? You get a spiritual kind of credit card as well, where it's like, how do I put it? You can kind of borrow against this as well. At least this is what I have seen. And it is, how well do you command things to be true? And I call it command confidence credit. You might call it something else. Some people just might call it the spark, something that someone has. But two people that I can think of that have it are Elon Musk, Donald Trump. Now, you might feel your certain way about Donald Trump and Elon Musk, but all politics aside, or all like, whether something is right or wrong, if you just look at things for how they are, both of these gentlemen have come from very hard times, and they've gotten themselves out of very deep holes, like to the tune of $90 billion for one of these two gentlemen. And basically what I'm getting at here is, maybe you don't have the credit or the recent reputation, but the fact that you have so much energy, so much passion about life and commanding things to be true, people would say, man, I'm going to take a chance on this guy because I know he's going to make something happen. And what I like to, like, being a programmer, being kind of a cyber guy, I like to say that these gentlemen can turn a false into a true. They can turn a 0 into a 1. It's one thing to help people. It's one thing to make a change in someone's life. And it's another thing to turn a 0, a literal 0, into a 1. It's another thing to turn a penny into a dime piece. I got that from Lil Wayne. But no, Lil Wayne didn't say that. He said turn a penny into a Janet Jackson, which was a dope line because, like, Janet Jackson played Penny in Good Times. And yeah, it was a dope line. So Lil Wayne didn't. Up subject, what I'm really getting at is, like, you can go and feed, like, let's just say you got up Saturday morning and you went and fed some homeless people. That's one thing, and that's good. But other men in this world can literally turn a homeless man into a guy in a suit and a car in the same day. Those are the people. Those are the people that get the money. And they do that based off of command confidence, the ability to command things fearlessly. All right. Stop me if this is too deep, because this is going even deeper. It's going to get a little bit offensive. Well, I'm not going to try to be offensive, but it may be offensive to some people as I get into the why this thing works, or why I think this works. But again, as you start to command things, and by the way, when it comes to how I raise myself out of poverty, how I hear other people raise themselves out of poverty, etc., or bad situations, maybe you want to get out of your country and move to America, Europe, Thailand, or maybe you just want to be the man in your country, or whatever the case. You do that through a command spirit. You do that through something that's been given to you at birth. I grew up with holes in my shoes. I grew up wearing hand-me-downs and stuff like that. The thing about it is, as I saw, like, in my spirit, I felt like there was a better life for me. So I started to command things to be. I didn't know what it was at first. I just realized what it was like a few months ago, and I just started actually making deliberate changes in my life. But once I learned this, I had to put my priorities in order. And when other spiritual people learn this, one thing that they get wrong here is they feel guilty about manifesting money. They feel guilty about manifesting material wealth and success in their lives. And I don't know why. It is, you need a bit of material wealth. You need a bit of money, resources, networking to do things for other people in your life. You need that. And unless you have a very specific, definite purpose to maybe help people as a very humble and very poor man, like that's a definite noble path as well. But you just need to make sure that's what you want. But if you do need resources, if you do need money, there's nothing wrong. There's completely nothing wrong with manifesting a little bit of money, like a lot of money in your life, and making that happen. Now, again, it's been like only 2 months on this journey, and I will tell you, we'll get into that. So my order is work on your money, work on your resources as a man, because you need that. Then start to work on, like, all right, now I have the money. Now I need a chef in my life, someone that can cook my food so that I can eat healthy and I can gain more ATP in my brain so that I can gain more of a true connection between me and a universal creator. I call him God. You can call him anything you want to call them in your religion or in your language or whatever the case. It's cool. It's fine. Just know that the still the biology still checks out, bro. Regardless, like the things in your body that connect you to these living, breathing, thinking stars, these galaxies, these things out here that are connecting with you on a daily basis. You know, the biology, the quantum physics, it is all the same regardless of where you are on this earth, regardless of where you are in the galaxy. It is all the same. Manifest that chef, then manifest the chauffeur, and then manifest an assistant. Because once the money comes in, you're going to need time to work on yourself and make sure that you're the best that you can be so that others around you are the best that they can be. So at least that's my plan. And then finally, just make sure when you ask people for what you want, when you ask the universe, well, let me take this back. When you command what you want in your life, make sure you are being precise and make sure you have a time with that. Again, if it involves other things, if it's just you want it now. I command a great and clear and concise live stream at this very moment. I command a great Thanksgiving with my family today. Any travels, I command safe travels today. And typically I say this with a meditation. And then if we don't mind, I'll do a quick meditation to show you how I do it. And by the way, with meditation, it's like you won't have to remember to do meditation. Once you feel the power, you're just going to do it. You're going to feel like you got ripped off if you don't do meditation. So all of this good stuff, just warming up. So let's talk about the fierceness of your command power. By the way, again, this is your new superpower. You're welcome, bro. This is your new superpower. When it comes to being fierce with your commands, like let's consider a scenario, right? When I get up in the morning, I start wiping my eyes and I step on the floor. I commanded that floor to be there. When you started walking as a baby or as a toddler, that was the universe teaching you to command the floor to be there, to command the floor to be true, to command your muscles to command the actual boundary between you and the floor, because there's not a real boundary there. Everything is frequency. Everything is waves. So by you touching a desk, that's you commanding that desk to be there. That is me commanding this chair to be there. Now I'm commanding it on another level in that I've commanded it so much that it's autopilot by now. But you got to understand that that is the basic building block of life. That is the basic building block of everything around you, is the fact that there is a part of you that will command things to be true so that things can be in order. So there's that. But to create additional things, you have to be fierce with your commands and understand. You have to understand on the back end of that, what are you willing to pay for that? So if I command $10 million in 2 years, I need to also, on the back end of that, understand what I'm willing to pay in exchange. And that exchange is like additional service. It's probably going to almost always be additional service to other men and other women. Probably double the value. So if I want 10 million, I'm willing to pay $20 million in effort and value to mankind. Or I'm willing to sacrifice all of my free time, all of my Steam games, all of the time that I would just sit in bed and scroll on social media. I'm willing to sacrifice all of that. I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of family time, etc. Right? So let's get into a little bit of quantum physics so we can kind of like hammer this thing home, like why this thing is really solid. So let's talk I hate to call it a law of observation, but I'm going to use a trendy term and say law of something, right? Law of observation. So if you're not at home, you don't think of your sofa. And I got this from a book, by the way. Your sofa, I'm saying it wrong. Your sofa would disappear because you're not commanding it to be true. Even though in the back of my head, right, you see like a kind of a thing here, what is one of those studio sheets, and then you see a couple things in my background, whatever the case. Because I'm not facing that way, it is not true. I have not commanded it to be true until I look that way. When I look that way, I think you get it. Just understand, like, that's how quantum physics works. Things don't exist until they're observed. And so your desires, the things that you want in your life they don't exist until you properly observe them with some fierceness and some confidence. But understand, every single thing is living and breathing. Some things, well, I don't want to say breathing, but everything is sentient. Everything is living. Everything is vibrating. Everything. This thing right here, this top, is sentient. It's not on my level, but it is sentient in a way that it is living and it is vibrating and it is thinking at some level. Now, things like galaxies, things like planets, things like beautiful things radiate much more than a top like this. But the reason why that is relevant is because the level that you vibrate on brings things toward you. Like these headphones, like not to kind of like brag or flex on anybody, but these headphones are they're $400. And when I was growing up, I mean, I couldn't do this. These are also like $400, right? And again, I'm not a rich dude, but what I'm making a point here that's saying like, I wanted nice headphones and I knew I could have them. And so these things are living, vibrating things. And they attracted to me because I'm in love with them so much. Like love connects me in these. I love these. And I've had these for 2019. So about going on 2021, 22, 23. So almost 4 years. And they look so good. And the reason is I have a love connection with these things. And love is what connects things in the universe. Love is what connects me to you. I know like some people have weird feelings about the word love, but literally that's why I say, bro, I love you guys. Like it's all love, because that is the number one building block that connects things, that makes things happen. It's like fuel. It's like gasoline for things. I know I'm getting weird. You guys can comment anytime you get ready. So yes. Yeah, there's magic in what we do. There's magic in all of our words. There's magic in our efforts. So I got my stuff a little bit out of order here because I've been waiting so long to do this. Let me see if there's anything that I missed here. Nope. All right. So let's talk about, we talked about meditation and prayer. I would just say this for breathing exercise. Oh, let's talk about some of the things that are sentient. So I talked about like, everything being sentient, and like even like little things that you don't think about, just understanding everything is living, everything is vibrating on a level. But there are more things. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you listening. Cause like, even if I help one or two people, like this was my purpose for the day. And so you're helping me do that. So I don't doubt that today's going to be a very special day for you. You feel me? So yeah. So we talked about ATP and how that is a very special molecule in your brain. It's actually all over your body, but you have a higher, more important connection to yourself in your brain. And that is how. So if you ever had an idea, or if you had ever been inspired, or whatever the case, that didn't come from you. That was downloaded to you. You downloaded that with the ATP in your brain. So that concept alone, whether you believe it or not, should inspire you to be more healthy, drink more water. And speaking of water, I truly believe that water is the most important sentient being on this planet. More important than humans. The reason is there's so much of it. There will be so much of it when we leave. Even if the water in the world were to decrease by 50%, it's still a lot of water. And water can wash things away. It can destroy whole civilizations. It can wipe civilizations clean. And it can allow civilizations to flourish. If you ever studied ancient history or whatever the case, societies were like crumbling until they found water. You notice how cities around rivers always tend to flourish. They always tend to flourish. If you look at Los Angeles, Miami, if you're in America, right? Los Angeles, Miami, New York. What do all of these places have in common? Houston. What else? Dare I say Jacksonville? What do all these places have in common? Dare I say Seattle as well. What else? Silicon, like they're all in very close proximity to water, albeit salt water, but still water. So water makes things flourish. Water makes things happen. Water can take away and it can add to. So you should be drinking water, a lot of water. Now, I'm not saying don't drink nothing else, but I'm basically saying if water isn't pure and you're putting it in your body, it's foolish strength. And water assists you when you want to command things to be true. If you want to command a certain change in your life, you need water in your body because that's going to greatly assist you. It's kind of like putting on extra spiritual muscle, having water in your body. So that's priority number one. Priority number two is having deep controlled breathing. This isn't going to be a breathing tutorial per se. I'll give you some tips. Breathe in 7 seconds. Hold for 3 seconds. And then exhale as if you're exhaling through your heart. And just let it feel like it's like spinning and doing crazy stuff, bro. And then repeat that. When you think about it, obviously, right? At some point, it'll become muscle memory, but just do that. And you're activating, when you do it, you're activating your chakras. You're activating like a little swirly thing in your back. You're activating the fact all your ATP, the stardust from stars that's in your body. You're activating all that, your electromagnetic spectrum and all of that. And your connection with the universe. You're just activating it and making it stronger. So 2 important things, water and breath. Your second side I watched today is cool. I appreciate that, man. I felt like I felt like people were gonna think I was weird, man. But yeah, this is kind of like, it's been a long time coming, and you will see like why I'm here now, because I tried it all, man. I tried all of this stuff, and this is by far like being on this journey to match spiritual stuff to scientific stuff. It's been a wild, crazy journey, but man, I appreciate it. Let's talk about prayer for a minute. Don't beg when you pray. I don't care what religion it is. I don't care what religion, bro. Do not beg. You don't have to ask. You can command, because you've been given that right to. As a man, you've been given that right to command things to be true. So if you have a sick daughter, command her out of the hospital. Command her to have good health. If you are late on the rent, command that money in your bank account and command it at that moment. And then, say your things like amen or, whatever matches your religion, because I promise you, there is truth in your religion. Don't let nobody tell you different. If you are religious, there is truth in your religion, but we'll get into how to like parse certain things and focus on certain areas. And again, this is going to be the controversial part. But again, at least listen and consider it, and then throw it away if you don't want it. So yes, actually, we're going to get into that now. How to parse some of the good stuff away from religion so that you take what you want and kind of leave. I don't want to call it garbage, but kind of leave the things that aren't going to help you at least manifest and like actually gain more. So, and YouTube might shut me down for this. In ancient times, in times where it was like BC or whatever the case, you had certain religions, certain ideas that were reserved for men, and then certain religions and ideas that were reserved for women and slaves. That's super hard to say, especially in 2022, bro. And so, bro, if there's any women watching me, I apologize. And the use of the word slaves, I apologize for that as well. But that is literally something that I read. And the thinking there is, you wanted women and slaves to have, and by the way, this is ancient times now. You wanted women and slaves to have a certain thinking so that men with their ability to make things happen, testosterone, their ability to fight wars, their ability to win things, ability to conquer, feed people, help people. They could focus on that with a certain set of thinking. So they were going to reject certain parts of religions like hell, life expectancy. They were going to reject all of that. Incorrect views about money and wealth, views about ego, instant gratification. You know, they were like men. They wasn't going to like indulge in certain things because it was against their definite purpose. So you got to understand, like, some of that thinking is pervasive today in today's society. So, I mean, it's hard to swallow, bro. I promise you, because I'm for equality. I'm for, men and women being equal if, they decide to be. But that is literally what I read from some ancient text, right? So when it comes to things like, let me think. When it comes to things like pornography and OnlyFans or instant gratification, like certain social media sites, back in the day, those things will be reserved for women and slaves. Again, that's super hard to say, man. That's super hard to say. But I'm bringing that point up because I'm not going to use those terms anymore, because again, I don't want this channel to come down. I don't want this video to come down. And I am very 100% in, like, I am not the sexist. I am not like none of that. I'm not against women or anything like that. What's the word? Misogynist or nothing like that. But we have to put things in categories now. So the women and slaves thing would be category B, and then like men, people that make things happen, category A, right? So ideas like hell, ideas like limitations on yourself, ideas like dying, or things like incorrectly viewing money, like looking in your bank account and seeing like $10 in there and knowing the rent is due and then panicking, like trying to see things literal from a physical sense only. Those things are reserved for category B, because society needed category B to be in line with things, to not try to deviate from the norm, because deep down inside of them, society felt at the time that things were going to go crazy if category B started to try to, make decisions for themselves, right? Again, super hard stuff to say, but that idea, again, is pervasive today. If I want to entertain, like if I am a big company and I want to entertain you, and I'm going to throw pornography your way and social media and things like that, I believe that you're in category B. If I set up a McDonald's beside your neighborhood, a McDonald's, a Little Caesars, and these are fast food restaurants, by the way. If I set up all of those things, like as instant gratification stores, as a business owner, I believe that you're category B. A neighborhood that's category A, I wouldn't set up things like that by you. I would set up things like grocery stores, places with whole food stores, things like that. I would set up those things by your neighborhood. I would set up businesses that were more likely be approached by thinkers, builders, and things like that. And it's not meant to be offensive. It's meant to cause a yin and a yang to society. That's all it really is supposed to be. Like, I know people are going to take that offensively, what I just said, but that's what it's meant to do. So with that out of the way, because I don't want to talk about that anymore, because it's the live stream isn't about that. But now go through your religion, go through spirituality, go through how society words things, and understand which category they're talking to. And from here, you can start to effectively ignore stuff. If there is like some kind of controversy on Twitter, if there's some kind of super crazy thing going on in the news, and it's like, bro, that don't fit my definite purpose, that doesn't help me, just go ahead and slide that at category B, and understand that like there are things for you in this world to boost you, but you definitely have to have a discerning and parsing mind. Boom, that's out of the way. Glad I got that through that. Now let's talk about my journey and how I got here, how I got to the person that you're seeing. In 2008 or 2009, I got laid off. I didn't know what to do. I was just a regular person. I would fit in that category B, right? Just this person, like the cog, like one of the cogs in the wheel, just making things spin. And once I got laid off, I watched The Matrix, which is, if you haven't seen The Matrix, go see that. some kind of way. The Matrix was like very vague though. The Matrix wasn't like, explicitly saying anything. And that's important when I talk about category A and category B. Sometimes you want to attract both category A and B. So it's like you are saying things, but then you're being vague, like Agent Smith being whatever, right? Whatever. Once I saw that, then I saw The Secret. And I started to realize that, okay, like, all right, the way that you think is important. Then I started to watch, I started to read as many self-help books as possible. But at some point, everybody was saying the same thing. So I was like, all right, I'm seeing success, but I'm not seeing like the success that I would need to help people on a grand scale. So how do I break out of this? So read some books, and then I finally read Outwitting the Devil, and about not drifting and about having a definite purpose, etc. And that was a great boost. But I started to get to another plateau. So I kept reading the book over and over again. But that wasn't helping. Like, it was just something. I was good. I was there. I was way ahead of where I was supposed to be. But then I was like, now I'm like, how do I make this thing go even further? Because it's like, I'm still not on Elon Musk's level. I'm not on a great level, or at least where I would want to be. Then I read the Urantia book. Now, this is where I get a little bit dicey again with the content of this video, because you can start a cult with the Urantia book. But the Urantia book is by far the most beautiful book I've ever read. If you ever read it, you're going to think that it's a Christian book. It is not. It does mention Jesus, it does mention the things that he did, but you don't have to consider it a Christian book. There were many great figures during our time in society. Jesus was probably most important, depending on where you are in the history of society, or whatever the case. Just understanding that we have a current contemporary version of human beings, and then we have human beings that go back more than 300,000 years ago, bro. And this is proven by science again. I don't say anything unless I've actually seen something that made me think about it. May not be 100% true, but there's some evidence that points toward me deducing these things that I say, right? So I'm not just pulling shit out of thin air, right? So 300,000 years ago would definitely be before Jesus. And this would be these people were actually ancient. It was an ancient advanced civilization, to the point where they had like little gas masks. They went to war. And there are some beliefs that these people even went to Mars. They're a multiplanetary species. And we're going to get into more of that in a minute. Actually, in a very short minute. After I read the Urantia book, though, beautiful book, talked about, I don't want to call them aliens because the word aliens doesn't do it justice, but other planetary species, like what we would call those, species on other planets. Because if I say aliens, then people are going to think about green men that come down and like terrorize you, like movies. Like movies really screwed the view of aliens. So I don't want to say aliens here. But then I read the Book of Enoch and the Keys of Enoch, and that's where it started to link adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, to the connection to the universal source. That's where I got all of that from. And that's where I actually discovered it. Like, I didn't discover it from a biology book. I discovered it there first, and then I went back. And the writer of that book had, like, they didn't take any biology lessons or anything like that. They literally got the message, from a spiritual source. Now, you can believe that or you might not, but at least consider the story, because it may lead you to some fascinating results just by considering it and researching it a little bit more. Then I read Chronicles of the Future. Chronicles of the Future was like a guy, he developed tuberculosis, and if you develop tuberculosis in the past, you're pretty much fucked. You were pretty much gonna die, yo. So he developed tuberculosis and he fell into a coma. And when he did, he was boosted. His consciousness was boosted into the future, way in the future. This was like thousands of years. So by the way, He went into the coma like 1920, 1930, 1940 in those times. And he was boosted way into the future. I wish I could remember the actual date, but it was like 2300, 2400 AD or something like that, way in the future. And maybe it was more years. I don't know. Just read the book. But anyway, he started exploring things, and it was so clear to him, the future, that he was able to come back after his coma and write about it in great detail. It was that vivid to him. But yes, the pertinent thing about this story though is, I might screw this up. So, if you're interested, just go read the book. But in society, people reached a point called the Nebelverge. And this was a spiritual awakening where like the truth was so beautiful and so powerful that it made people want to die on the spot. And it says that as we progress in technology and things like that, eventually everyone will realize that technology has kind of like hit its point, and human development is next, and that's where the spirituality comes in. And then we see the Nebelverge, or like the kind of like the spiritual awakening, or whatever the case. And then we just like, you know what? I don't want to be on this world no more. And we just like voluntarily give up our lives to reach the next level of life, or next level of spiritual life, and shed the spiritual body, whatever the case. And so in that story, almost everybody did that, but there were a certain number of people that stayed on Earth for whatever reason. At that point, like, I don't understand why you would want to, but a certain number of people stayed on Earth, and society became super enlightened to the point where no one worked unless they wanted to. Like, you work for 2 years, and then for the rest of your life, you just did whatever you wanted. Money wasn't a thing, and everything was just super beautiful. And as you read the book, you can tell like this guy had super duper conviction, because he wasn't really focused on making a futuristic story. He was just telling you about the future as he talked about his love life in the future. Another thing he said that the woman that he was in love with before he went into the coma, she reincarnated in the future, and he didn't know that till right before his coma ended and he woke up. It was kind of like, it's one of those stories that should be like, man, this hasn't been like that long either. So I'm still learning, but I think, bro, I appreciate that comment. Really do. I'm trying to master it every day. I will say that like my awakening thus far has come a long way. And so that's why you see the grind. That's why you see like YouTube being so successful in such a short time to me. And that's why you see such effortless success when I create videos, is because once I started eating this stuff up and just rejecting what sounded stupid or didn't work for me, and just thinking on my own, I started seeing success. But basically, back to the story, this happens, and then he wakes up, he writes about it, and then the story wasn't even supposed to get out, bro. The story was supposed to be like, he handed that story to his assistant, and he was like, take care of this story for me, read it to my children, and then he died. And so the assistant read the book and was like, damn, this story is fucking dope. I wonder if it's true. So he started to show it to other people. And then a certain secret society, I'm not going to say the name on here, but a certain secret society took the story and tried to hide it because they felt like people wasn't ready for it. It was that fucking powerful, bro. And then it eventually got published or whatever the case. And hopefully more people read it. And even if they don't necessarily believe that the story is true, at minimum, you can start to, at least you can get a new wonder about life. Normally that's what it's about. Maybe you hear something in a religion or a certain spiritual belief that doesn't really make sense and sounds stupid and sounds kind of like crazy. That's fine. At least hear it and just imagine it being true. And you'll get so much more from that than just rejecting it fully. So, all right. Chronicles of the Future, dope book. And then I started following Billy Carson, and he was like, our DNA, the little DNA that can fit on the tip of your finger, can hold petabytes of data. That was like, oh, I was like, what? Petabytes of data. And let's go to, because everything that I say, I want to actually give you actual proof. Microsoft DNA storage. Boom, bro. Y'all try to deliver. So Billy Carson said this way before 2021. Way before Microsoft. Like, how real is that? A guy that has linked science and spirituality for himself on his own journey discovered this before Microsoft. So everything that I say, bro, I'm not just trying to like influence you to do something. I'm not trying to create a cult. This is literal stuff that really drives me every day. And if you don't even accept everything that I'm saying, just understand like the knowledge is out here and you can pick through it and choose what you want to actually believe, and the things that you don't believe, and I'm repeating it for effect, by the way, the things that you don't actually believe, at least imagine it being true and get the feeling off of that thought. The thought of this discovery is going to make it where we are teleporting beings. Like, we're going to be able to teleport. Like, that's going to be easy. That's going to be child's play once this thing comes to life. Now, that technology, that ability to do that might be in the hands of certain individuals, but you're going to be able to do stuff like that. Like all of the stuff that you see in the movies with futuristic stuff, DNA storage is going to do that. DNA storage is not of this planet. Was busy cooking dinner. Yeah, go back and check it out, man. And it's one of those things where if you have some questions or if you have some comments or you're like, man, that's stupid, or that, man, that's dumb. Like, why do you believe in that? Bro, just I don't mind being challenged, because being challenged on some of these crazy beliefs, it helps me think more. And it's going to probably influence me to like think more about it. So, man, please check me out, man. Let me keep going, because what time is it? 51 minutes. And I know people have to cook and be with the family, so I want to be respectful to that. But as a thank you, this live stream is like a thank you to you, because again, whatever. Then I discovered Thoth and Hermes. So Thoth was kind of like one of the, in my opinion, one of the most important people that I've read about. So if you don't know about Thoth, he was like, I don't know what you, I haven't checked that out yet. It's just, yeah, this is kind of like the first thing that I did today, after I kind of talked to you about that. So definitely going to check that out and see about that and see what's up with that. So, Thoth and Hermes. So Thoth was, man, you just got to look up Thoth, because there is too much to say. Just understand that from my experience, I think all religious figures have a lineage to Thoth. And he lived for a lot of years. So people call Thoth a god, but people called him a god. He didn't call himself a god. Everything that he was doing, he felt like other people could do. So in addition to being kind of, and I'm not in ancient Egyptian religion, I came up on Thoth because I started linking Thoth to other religions. Is that real? So Thoth would tell you that he was a living, breathing man, but people, because of all of the actual secrets about life he started to discover and exploit, people just started calling him a god. One of the things that he did was he lived for, I don't see it here. Maybe they're trying to actually hold some of the actual good stuff about this guy, like what he did, out. But essentially, he lived for tens of thousands of years, and he mastered reincarnation and all of that. And again, this is another part of the video where if you don't really believe in that stuff, all right, fine. But at least consider it, imagine it. Imagine seeing a movie about that. Like, wouldn't that be dope? Like, wouldn't it be dope if we developed the technology to do that? Live for tens of thousands of years, reincarnate, things like that. Wouldn't that be dope? Like, and then you gotta think of it too, like people sat in ancient times and thought of these stories. If it's not true, they sat and thought of these stories. So not being advanced as us, where did that information come from? Like these guys were like to throw all of it away, to call it 100% not true. And damn, I thought that I was showing you this. I'm not. So here's the Wikipedia on Thoth. So from here, he reincarnated into Hermes, and then he kind of continued his path or whatever the case. I truly believe that he was like, all right, I've had enough of the world, and I'm going to just finally give up the world because I want to go to another place. But he lived here for a lot of years, like crazy years. And again, this is one of those beliefs. Again, if you don't believe it, just imagine, all right, what if we actually get to a point in society where we're doing the things that this guy did? It would be a smack in the mouth to a lot of people. A lot of people. And it would shatter our beliefs as humans. So just thinking on that level of what could be possible on some of these crazy levels gets your brain flowing. And when you start to think about smaller stuff, yes, man, I appreciate that. This knowledge is a whole different level. If you follow Billy Carson, bro, I promise you it'll be so much better than my knowledge, because he's been doing it so much longer. But I appreciate that feedback. Billy Carson has been doing this way longer than me. And when you feel the demeanor of Billy Carson, you'll realize that he's not trying to do it to get you in a cult. He's not trying to do it to get your money. He's doing it because it's the right thing to do to get this knowledge out to people. So, yeah. But yeah, I definitely 100% appreciate that feedback. But again, when it comes to these ancient gods, when it seems so outrageous to you, like, whoa, that's crazy talk, bro. There's no way people are living tens of thousands of years. There's no way people are reincarnating. Fine. Can you imagine a technology that would do that in the future? Now you're thinking like, all right, well, when you start thinking about stuff like, all right, well, this guy's live streaming every morning at 5 a.m. That doesn't really seem that awesome anymore. Like if you see like David Goggins running all these marathons, whatever the case, that doesn't seem that awesome anymore. When you think of people like George Hotz creating pretty much self-driving cars on his own, that doesn't seem that awesome anymore, because you have so much more of human potential. That the fact that these people actually were able to write about reincarnation, about let me show you some other stuff, bro. Stuff that'll blow your mind. I wonder if I'm gonna find it. Two narrow currents that lead that. Oh man, I can't find it. Man, I can't find it. I think what it is like some of this knowledge is so 45-year-old. Yeah, I can't fucking find it, bro. So first of all, just understanding how precise this thing is ridiculous, given the given the times. Great Pyramids of Giza. Let's try this. Oh no. Some of this stuff is amazing, but there are like far more amazing facts. So I'm gonna screw this up because I don't know the exact measurements, but the pyramids are precisely in line with one of the. Man, I don't want to screw this up. Yeah, I don't want to screw this up, because if I do, like, this is gonna be such a It's gonna be such a disservice. Yeah, he doesn't have it in here, but the pyramids are precise. They precisely aim towards certain stars in the sky, as if they were energy houses, like energy beacons for the world. Yeah. If I would have to actually read line by line how precise and how accurate, and how much advanced knowledge these people would have had for the pyramids. Just research that on you. I might have to do a whole live stream on that, just on its own. But yeah, once I started reading all of this though, Thoth put out something called the Emerald Tablets. And once I bought that book, I was like, bro, what the hell? Emerald Tablets. I started to link the lineage of Jesus to Thoth, the fact that Jesus traveled to Egypt and all of this. And once I started linking all of these things together, I started to believe in a simulation theory again. And I was like locked in. I was like, we are in a simulation. And I know that we're in a simulation because people like Jesus, Thoth, Hermes, Muhammad, Buddha, all of these people were command driven, and they knew that we were in a simulation, and they tweaked life to fit their definite purpose because they knew that we were in a simulation. It felt like a simulation to them. I truly believe that. So that's why they're great in society. I believe that once society is command driven on this level, we will become a multi-planetary species. We'll become immortal beings. I truly believe that. There won't be any more death, or at least death in the traditional sense. Yeah. So let's get back to the skill though. So I truly believe that the skill exists to command things in your life, to make things happen, to say, hey, yo, I command this thing to be true. Things around you will begin to move and happen for you. One of the first things that I did, that I have to admit, was I indulged in a guilty pleasure. I'm not going to say what that pleasure was. One of the guilty pleasures that I've had for my whole life almost. And I would say, even though the results, like the after effects of that, of achieving that, what do I want to say here? I was glad that I did it, but I realized that it wasn't really all it was cracked up to be. So I'm telling you that because, like, you're going to want to do that as well once you realize this power. I would say go right for that. Just be careful. Obviously, don't do nothing crazy. And then understand, like, all right, this didn't fit my definite purpose, so now I need to let these feelings go, drop this, and get on my definite purpose. But that's going to be one of the first things you're going to want to try out with this thing. But yeah, if some of these desires inside you involve other people, you have to tell other people what you want and when you want it. So, for example, like if it's like, if you're a man or whatever, and it's a cute girl or whatever the case, works at a library or whatever the case, and you discover this power or whatever, tell her that you want to take her out and you want to take her out on that day. Or it might not even be related to women, but that's just an example that some people might struggle with. If you want a job, walk straight up to that workplace and ask for that job in a commanding but not offensive way, and see it work for you. And if it doesn't work, command understanding for that. Not from them, but from yourself, and it'll happen for you. Man, so that's a lot, man. So basically, this thing, like this whole command driven, because like it's law of attraction at its core, right? Like it's like if you wanted to market this thing and you wanted to sell to people, you'd call it law of attraction. But to men like us, it's like this is our commands, where we're commanding things to be true. Like Alexander, Leonidas, they commanded obstacles to leave their path. I command this obstacle out of my way. So Leonidas and 300 men could defeat entire armies, simply because one man commanded something to be true. But of course, you don't just get it and like see success. You have to tweak it. It's kind of like having a rifle, right? a rifle can do some damage. A rifle is, if you get it right out of the store, wherever you get it, that thing can do some damage. But it can do a whole lot more damage if you learn how to aim with it. If you learn how to squeeze the trigger, if you learn how to breathe when you're handling it. Damn, I'm fuzzing up right here. If you learn how to handle that rifle, it's going to be a lot more effective. And that is the same thing for your command spirit, though, your ability to command things. It's going to work right out of the box, but it's going to work like it's going to be crazy. You're going to have to tweak it. You're going to have to calibrate it and all of that. So, damn, why does my, let me turn off this automatic focus here. So basically, when you want to do anything, I'm going to switch gears for a minute here. I know y'all like seeing me screw up. So it is fuzzy. All right, I think I'm fine here. Yeah, I'm good. Good. Shit. Just a second, bro. No, this is the wrong thing. Manual focus. Got it. Oh, man. I wish I would have, yeah. I'm going to keep it technical on this channel because that is, like actually like people like trying to like teach some of this stuff. Like I'm going to leave it to people like Billy Carson because he's good at this. Like I'm just a humble student. But I will say that, if you want to talk about this again offline or whatever the case, like I'm there for it. I'm here to help you reach yours. I'm not rich yet, so I'm not telling you that I have used this to manifest $1 million yet. I believe that it will be so. I will tell you that right before I discovered this, like, you know, the current situation in the world, like after COVID, like it was hitting me pretty hard. I didn't know how I was going to kind of like make it with bills and such. And then once I kind of like, yeah, you do. Definitely. But if you see it like on that level, let's talk about like how people phrase things for a minute. Just ending off my previous point though, my whole thinking on money, I had to refresh that and make sure that I was thinking of money in a command spirit, not as a guy that was just waiting on a blessing, or a guy that was a victim. Like instead of waiting on a blessing, like I'm commanding a blessing to be true. And that's where a lot of people, especially people of my color, get it incorrect. I don't mean to mean like bringing up color or whatever, but like we, I think black people have probably some of the worst problems with like just waiting on something to happen instead of going out and getting it. And having that command spirit is important for us. So you become what you think about. Let me tell you, like some of that, like you got to watch how certain things are worded when it starts talking about that. Because if I sat here and I was like, I'm just going to think about becoming a successful YouTuber or having YouTube success, which by the way, I would call what I've had thus far success on YouTube. But if I just sat and I was like, I'm just going to think about this, what would end up happening is I would start getting conflicting thoughts. That's everybody. You start like, if I want to make it to the NBA and I start thinking about it, I'm going to start having doubts. I'm going to say, well, my feet are flat. It hurts when I run. My knees hurt. So I want to do it. And I have the thoughts in my head, but I probably need to watch it a little bit. I need to be cautious. And those competing things will kind of kill it, will kind of cancel it out. So as you think about it, the next step to this is commanding it to be true. So if I wanted to go to the NBA, once I thought about it, I'm going to like get like this, meditation, make sure those chakras are activated, sit in Indian style or whatever we're calling it. I command my NBA career to be true. I command any thoughts that conflict with my NBA dreams to leave my mind at this instant. And I can get even more insane with it by recording myself and listening to it all day. Loading up an audio file, like there's many apps out there that'll allow you to replay affirmations. Screw affirmations, bro. Screw positive thinking and all of that stuff. This is basically what we're doing, but it's another level. Positive thinking is one thing, but positive thinking is passive thinking. Command thinking is active thinking. So you got active attraction, which is command. I'm commanding this to be true. You got passive, which is I'm going to think about it and eventually it's going to happen to me. And then you got, of course, negative thinking, right? You want to be at the top, which is like, not only am I thinking positive, but I am commanding this to be true. Because you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait for your blessing. You don't want to be waiting on somebody to come and save you, bro. Like, you got the power to save yourself. So why not think in terms of commanding things to be true? That's why I named my, like, if you follow me and you see my tool being named Commander, I love the word command so much. Like, for real. Like, that word does something to me. Like, words like that. So yeah, even though, like, it's true, like Earl Nightingale, like, I've listened to a lot of his stuff. I've listened to a lot of Napoleon Hill's stuff, but I will tell you, sometimes people word things in ways to appeal to women or appeal to people that want to be controlled. Even though they're speaking like positive, think positive and do things, like they're speaking in ways that still kind of imply that you want to, like people want to be controlled. But so, like, passive positive thinking is not what I'm teaching here today. It's still good. It still leads you to a good life. Don't get me wrong. But active positive thinking, which is commanding things to be true, now you're on another level to where you are actively shaping your life. And so that's how I think this live stream is going to be different from anything that you find on YouTube. If you just research law of attraction or whatever the case, they're going to tell you, listen to these affirmations. And they're like, I dream of one day being a millionaire. I feel millions of dollars in my future. I am abundant beyond all things. Like, when you hear stuff like that, that is marketed toward a certain individual that, yes, they're going to get success in their lives, but it's going to be a plateau there so that they're comfortable. I would tell you, being command focused, being having the spirit of being a commander of life and things in your life is not comfortable. Like, I'll tell you right now, don't get into this and thinking it's going to be comfortable. It's going to be a grind. For real. But I'll tell you, with that grind, when you get on your grind, bro, and I'm gonna show you how it's worth it. Even death will avoid a man on. Whew, bro, tell it, bro. I'll tell you about that as well in a minute. When you get on a path like this, and you start receiving messages, like people start appreciating you, like this right here. It's like, now it's like, bro, I was tired as hell, right? Because I didn't want to live stream. I got up out of my warm bed for my wife and I was tired as hell. I didn't want to get up, or I didn't want to get in here and study again last night. I didn't want to get in here again and get on King of the Hill so that I could, like, tweak my skills. But then when I receive that love from other people, it's like, that makes it all worth it. And so that's what you're signing on to by going another level past passive positive thinking. Active positive thinking, you're going to be tired. You're going to feel like, hey, bro, I'm probably pushing myself too hard. But when you start to see the results, the fruits of your work, you're going to be like, bro, this is a hell of a grind, but this is all worth it. You see, like, I'm right now, I got up hella early on Thanksgiving when I could have just slept in. So that is kind of like the price you pay for this. Like, everything comes with a cost, but like, when you see the fruit, you can be like, bro, that cost was well worth it. So it's like this, man. I talked about Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And again, I bring those guys up because I admire something about both, even though both have also done things that I don't agree with, that I thought was like super silly, like on some, so like with every man, like I don't worship men like gods. Like I know people worship Donald Trump like a god. Some people, I don't do that. Some people worship Elon Musk like a god. I don't do that. I do try to pick certain good things from their game. I did read Donald Trump's Art of the Deal and How to Be a Billionaire, I think. So I do read books from people like that, but I don't worship them like a god. Like, so let's just get that straight from the door. Like, we don't have to even discuss that. But what I see from these men is, and I said it earlier in the live stream, is they can turn a 0 into a 1. They can turn a false into a true. They don't half step it when they're transforming somebody's life. You feel me? So it's one of those things like, yeah. Woo! Thank you, man. So it's like, to me, when what's his name? When Donald Trump walks up to a bank and he needs a loan for $1 billion, he might have the most terrible credit, the most terrible business plan, but people are going to give him a loan because he has a history of turning a 0 into a 1, a false into a true. He can turn 100 acres into a booming, thriving housing market. And when you see that type of result, that comes from a man with unlimited energy. And you can only get there by commanding things to be true, especially at that age now. So again, when you see these people, regardless of how you feel about them, regardless of how you think they got their money or whatever the case, when you see that energy and you see people continuing to invest in that, question that. When you see the fact that Elon Musk can literally borrow against his own personal value, that's because that's what he's doing. That's how he got rich. His own personal value and his ability to make things happen. He's borrowing against that as he pays for his company, as he pays for Twitter, borrowing against his own self, not his credit. His own personal credit as a man, his ability to make things happen. When you see that, you say, okay, how do you get there? Commanding things to happen. Definitely stretching yourself to the point where it's like, all right, most people, like I was looking around YouTube and I was like, nobody's live streaming every day. Well, one guy was, and I was like, but nobody's doing that in cybersecurity. Nobody's doing that with technical content. So I'm going to do that. And because I'm going to show the world my energy. I'm going to show the world that I have a limitless well of energy somewhere in me. Now, I had to make some changes in my life. Like I had to give up drinking. You know what I'm saying? I had to give up all of that. I had to live more of a healthy lifestyle than I was already living. I had to make sure that I was watching like how I worked out, how I slept at night and stuff like that. But once I got on the frequency and I knew what I wanted, I know I want 365 straight live streams, regardless of whatever. I said, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to show the world some level of extraordinary ability. And the rest is history. So you can, that command, confidence, credit, you can borrow against that. And so I know deeply inside of me that I will be rich beyond my wildest dreams. And I know that because I've tapped into a limitless energy. I've tapped into something where I can create a live stream for a whole year, have technical content, have an hour, maybe 2 hours of stuff to talk about because I've commanded that to be true. Have 2 hours of stuff to talk about and provide value. And if I were to give advice out there, it's like, you don't have to choose something like that, but you have to choose something that is above the common man. So if you are just going into work and coming home, taking care of your family, you might still be thinking positive. You might have some kind of success. You might be making $160,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and that might be fine for you. But like, if you're not showing extraordinary ability and helping people in that process, like, I don't know about your definite purpose. You might want to like rethink that. But yeah. And with this though, it's like, all right, so let's just say, for example, it's one of those things where I need the thought process. So let's just say I lay out my day. So I'm going to lay out my day for you. 5 o'clock to 6:30 ish. It's going to be a live stream. 6:30 to 7:30 is going to be working out. 7:30 to 8 is going to be a meditation and affirmation. So I'd say I command all my desires to be true. That's kind of like my go-to if I don't have anything. I'd say I command all my desires to be true at this instant, like right now. But I do my meditations, my affirmations, and all of that. 7:30 to 8, probably longer if I'm like really into it. And then from 8:30 to like 5 or whatever, I might be working, or if it's the weekend, like doing family stuff, whatever. That's the basic structure of my day. Where was I going with that? I was going somewhere. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, yes. So sometimes I need to, with everything that you do, there's a cost in energy, obviously, right? So there's a cost in energy when I'm on this live stream. So that means that because I focused on this live stream, there will be something else that I won't be able to do, because nothing exists in a vacuum. Time has to be given, and then energy has to be given for this thing, right? There's a thing that Dr. Huberman talks about called limbic friction. And that is kind of like the struggle. Like if you're in the bed and you need to work out and you want to just lay in that bed, there's a duality there that you fight against and or you fight with. And that's called limbic friction. So as more practical advice, getting away from the spiritual stuff, which again, if anyone has any spiritual questions, just ask them and I'll get back on that. But getting away from that and getting into like straight up practical stuff that the common man can hitch on to, you want to make sure that all of the things that matter to you are done in the morning, period. Unless you're like one of those guys that like sleeps in the 5 o'clock and then whatever the case. Maybe you have a weird schedule. Like as soon as you get up, make sure you handle the most important business. The reason why you want to do that is because the testosterone in your body is highest in the morning. So definitely 100% get after it in the morning, bro. Like even like I'm 36. At some point, I will experience a sharp decrease in testosterone, according to biology, which I don't even have to believe because I have the command spirit to kind of like stave that off. But, you know, if I'm going according to contemporary beliefs, at some point I'll experience that decline. And so even though I like to talk to like younger guys to like give them advice, I'm an older guy in a way, like coming up on middle age, if I'm not considered middle age already. And we all need a way to contribute, not only at our highest level, but on a sustained level. We don't want to fall off, bro. So there's that. You just got to make sure that, and this goes without saying, this is even that type of live stream that I wanted to do, but taking care of yourself, all of that stuff that I just said in this previous, like 122 minutes, an hour and 22 minutes, taking care of yourself health-wise should be a given. You should know to do all of those things. Yeah. I'm going to see if I could kind of like pull up some stuff now. Let me do that. I wish I could find these. Let me see. Really old. Want to see me in box of store. Man, damn, bro. I wish I had Great Pyramid of Giza. Let's see, mysteries. No, none of that's true. So yeah, stuff like this, super interesting. Like, you see this. This isn't supposed to be like that, bro. Like, Italian pyramid. Who built the pyramids? Yes, this is kind of like what I wanted to talk about. A mind-boggling fact about the Egyptian pyramids is that they are made literally in the center of the earth. Now, internalize that for a minute, bro. Center of the earth. And we're talking about an ancient civilization. Or they were supposed to be ancient, right? Center of the earth, though. How do you know you're in the center of the earth? And so some people might say, well, maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe they just built it and then it just happened to be in the center of the earth, bro. Yeah, right. Come on, bro. Um, again, I am not a follower of the Egyptian religion. I am a guy that took scientific facts like this and started linking them to religions across the world and coming up with my elevated theories on life and using that for success for my own self and my family first, because I have to be successful. I have to have the money and the means to help people. And then I give back on a global scale. The energy given to me by money, by ideas from the universal creator, beamed into my head through the power of ATP in my brain, the sparkling minerals that come from stars in my cells, the fact that my cells generate actual electromagnetic activity, all these amazing things about my body, and that I'm made in God's image, that I'm made by a breathing, creating, um, whew, I can't even explain it. I'm about to start crying, bro. It's for me, man. It's for you, but you have to observe it, because it doesn't exist for you if you don't observe it. This cup, it doesn't exist. I observe it. Now it exists. So same thing for your passions, your dreams, for the things that you want to do. If you don't observe it, it doesn't exist, bro. And that might sound crazy, but look up some quantum physics. And I promise you they'll tell you something different. They're slated along the diagonal in a southwesterly, blah, 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 blah. Yes. So I fully understand now why the ancient Egyptians are considered to be the most advanced civilization to ever live. More advanced than us. So, yeah. I just read that. A lot, yeah. So, yeah, that's dope. Dope as hell. So that, man, I wish, let me see if I could. Forbidden Knowledge TV. Bro, I could, like, some of this stuff, like, it's so hard to find the actual real knowledge on the internet, bro. So hopefully Billy Carson appreciates me for this and doesn't, like, try to say that I was trying to, like, copyright or whatever. But all of this stuff, yeah. All of this stuff, yo. Like, this might get this video taken down, but it's better that I show you guys this stuff. Let me see if I can go to my history here. But yeah, this is all like, yeah. Blueprint from God Power. This just came out. They're talking some heavy stuff here. I don't want to get into that because that is not what I wanted to. Let's see if it's this one. Yeah, all of that. So this was fascinating right here. Oh, I don't want to show that because I don't want to get. But essentially, like, I don't know. You have to research that on your own. Chariots of the Gods. Bro, tell you, man. But I'm looking for something specific here. Amazing Things on Mars. Check that out. That's if you choose to get a subscription to this thing. It is like $7 a month, but it's man, the stuff that I've learned from, like, I try to avoid stuff like Kanye West stuff and things like that because I don't want to derail my definite purpose. And sometimes I don't know, some things I don't want to say it's not relevant to me, but some things don't help. And so I have to be discerning when I watch certain stuff, because you watch if you consume too much. Here we go. Maybe. Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to find it because there's just so much information. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Damn. I wanted to find it so bad. But I was looking for the fact that like this guy travels to these places. He doesn't just like Google stuff. He travels to the places, and then what he'll do is he'll talk to the people in the area. So like going to the Pyramids of Giza, he don't just like talk to the tour guides. He said, okay, take me to the locals so I can start to get the real truth behind this. And that's what he'll do to kind of get his. And then he puts all that information back to this site. Secrets of the Pyramids. Is it this? Hopefully it is, bro. Okay, I think this is. Oh, this is it. This is it, bro. This is it. Oh, man. This is it. I found it. Let me see if I can go to the exact slide. It's coming back to me, the thing that I wanted to say. And I think I'm going to end it off on this. I'm just making sure that this is what I want to. All right. So I think I remember what I wanted to say here. Yeah. Oh, yes. This right here, bro. I'm gonna make it bigger. The speed of light in a vacuum is this big number here. The geographic coordinate for the Great Pyramid of Giza is this big number right here. Notice that these two numbers precisely match. That's insane, bro. And this is just the tip of the iceberg as far as the information that these people had. Now, how does this link to like spiritual stuff? The people that built this, the real people that built it, ended up putting out several ancient tablets that if you compare those tablets, you'll see that people directly plagiarize from these tablets to make things like the Bible and things like this. Getting a little bit controversial again, but it's true. Look it up. And so they fed into these religious texts. People added to some of the religious texts to kind of like say, okay, like we need a way to kind of like control people. So another controversial thing. Like I don't mean to say that to get clicks and views, but it's just true to me, right? And so everything that we have done as a society has fed from the preciseness and the construction and the thinking of these ancient civilizations. And so we need to be getting, if we don't even get our actual way of life from these people, at least we need to be listening to some of the things that they talk about in these ancient scriptures, like the emerald tablets and things like that, and all of that. And so there's a lot of good stuff on this site here. I truly believe that this knowledge is eventually going to take over, and this will be the basis of science. It's already doing it. Like it's already happening. And so I would rather people be ahead of this thing and get what you can from this knowledge instead of being behind it and like being late on it. So good stuff. I don't want to get like copyright struck, so I'm gonna like avoid playing the video. All right, I'm just gonna show you the slides. That's it. There's a lot that I could get into, but that's gonna be it. This is like my thank you to the people that watch me. And if you heard something in here and like, you don't have to accept it all, because you don't have to accept it all. Just accept the things that you know will change your life. If I said something, accept those things. And then everything else that don't make sense, you just reject it. Keep moving. Live life, bro. But just understand that if you're a man out there and you desire success, if you desire something like that, like there is a simple, practical way to get it. And that's by commanding things to be true. That's understanding that you are a creator by what's been given to you in your DNA. You know, yes, hidden knowledge. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's hidden for a reason, because it's hidden because a lot of people don't want to hear it. A lot of people want to kind of drift through life. Like it's their destiny to drift through life, and that's fine. But I don't think I'm talking to drifters here. I'm talking to people that want to control things and like actually have a defined effect on life. So if that is you, you have to go after things that you might not be able to find on Google easily. You might have to go after, bro, if I, like, let's just say, man, you know, you watching Google or whatever, there's a lot of like self-help people. He read 100 self-help books. Here's what he's learned. We click on this. We don't want to get copyright struck, so we'll pause it and things like that and just go straight to the comments here. Don't have time to read 100 books? Get my weekly emails. So not only is he telling you stuff that'll help you, but he's making it super convenient for you so you don't have to do the grind. He's making it convenient for you in the form of chapters. If you look at Billy Carson stuff, like that shit is like, this is all that information. And if you ain't got the balls, if you ain't got the ability to go after this information and parse it yourself, so be it. Like, that's you. That's how you know where the true knowledge is. If they're making it super convenient and super easy to get, think about it. Some people just want these. And I'm not knocking your hustle. Go out and get your views. But understand, like, the true knowledge, the stuff that's really going to help you. And like, even stuff like this is like, this guy probably means well. But people really want to make it, people want to make self-improvement like candy. And self-improvement isn't candy, bro. Self-improvement is literal vegetables, bro. It's just vegetables. It's vegetables that you have to grow in a garden. You got to go after it. And you have to accept some uncomfortable truths. But on the other side of that is fruit, bro. I promise you. Yeah. Jim Quick, I never heard of him. Jim Quick. Yeah. Jim Quick, yeah. So I'm glad you brought him up, because he talks about gratitude and how gratitude rewires your brain. Let's talk about gratitude, bro, and how that's going to help. I know I said I was going to get off, but you brought up a good point. When you said him and then I saw the word gratitude. Gratitude should be, when you start this whole thing, when you start this whole like command-driven life, like commanding things in your life, commanding them to be true, and then tweaking that whole approach to life as far as creating and manifesting stuff. Gratitude comes automatic. I got to hear a story. Yeah, I do. I'm going to probably try to read it. But, and what I mean by that is when you realize that what am I trying to say? When you realize that everything around you is sentient and living, if you realize this desk is living, this chair is living and is vibrating, that's where the gratitude comes in at, because you know that all of those things are there because you're commanding them to be there. And anything that comes on your command, you automatically feel a sense of gratitude for it to be. You understand what I'm saying? So as I gain more subscribers, that's love there, because certain individuals have attracted to my channel. Not everyone is gonna like my unedited style and how I do things and how I screw up and how I like how I have half-baked ideas. But the right people are here, and so because this whole thing has worked for me to talk to you and you to be here, that's where the gratitude comes from. So I don't ever have to force gratitude, you know. But yeah, so born in 1973, grew up in Newark. In his childhood days, he used to go to school. He had a brain injury. Wow. In school, when teachers gave him to read, he could not even read a word because of his words. So he had like dyslexia. After the brain injury, he thought he would be worthless. He kept focusing on the concept how to learn something. 2 million, bro. So trust the process and do the work, and the results are coming. So yeah, when you read stuff like this, don't get me wrong, like this is inspiring. This is not worded for this is worded a little bit soft here. But it's important to word it in those ways so that you're marketable. What this probably really should say is, don't just trust the process, command the process to be true, do the work, and commit. Not commit to daily learning, just commit. Command the process, do the work, and commit. The results are there. That's what this should say. And it's uncomfortable to word it like that, because now you're reaching like that success level is a level of uncomfort, but the most fruit. This is like someone that passive, like if I'm trusting the process instead of commanding the process, then I'm being passive about my results. Now, don't get me wrong. Like this dude, like I like this dude and I like what he stands for, but what I'm teaching here is active. Like, and again, like definitely 100% living his purpose. But when you consume information like this, you don't want to trust the process and wait on it. Command that process. Command the things that you have to do today to get that process rolling. And go out and get it. But other than that, man, this guy has a very inspiring story. I know that Twitter is one of those places where you have to word things so that the majority of people will accept it. So not knocking this guy and his hustle, by the way. So, but let's talk about his how he came up and how this kind of applies to what I'm saying. You will see here, and I'm glad you introduced me to this guy. Tie your boots. So yeah, we'll talk about gratitude some more. When it comes to problems like brain injuries and things like that, you'll notice like he kept on focusing on the concept how to learn something. I'm pretty sure in his mind was like, I command the fact that I will learn something to be true. It was something along those lines, because that set of words that I just said, like words like that will make it happen. If you just said how to learn something, like, because I'm pretty sure that this was translated from another language. So, I mean, you get a little bit of, like some of this stuff is lost in translation. So you have to understand that. And you have to understand that, like, after you get to a level where you're reading positive things and you're saying positive things, certain words hit harder than others. You feel me? So just understand that part once you get into positive thinking. Like it's one thing to get into this space. Congratulations, you're here. Now you have another job, which is like pick the correct words to say. And so again, like not knocking this story again. I don't want to sound like I'm knocking it. It's just that I'm pretty sure that he was far more forceful with his change than what this article suggests, because that's what you have to do to get to a level that he's at. You have to be very forceful. You have to be very uncomfortable. You have to be very devoted. And he got there. But when it comes to stuff like learning challenges and things like that, that makes your command power, your superpower to command things, that sharpens it. That sharpens it and makes it more, that makes it more strong. That makes it stronger. So as he kept going up against that challenge every single day, his got stronger. His got more potent. So he was able to exceed the success of most men, because he basically had a knife sharpener every single day with his brain disability. Every single day. Sharpening it. So that negativity in your life, that's sharpening your ability to command things. That's all it's doing. It's not there to like kill you. It's not there to make you feel down. It's there to sharpen your ability to be a man. Now let's talk about gratitude, bro. Yeah, tie your boots tight and get in the mud, bro. Let's talk about gratitude. So gratitude means being thankful, bro. It's just being thankful. And that's crazy that because this is Thanksgiving Day, like we're talking about gratitude, right? When you start to realize like the power inside you, the power to make things happen, bro, I promise you, bro, gratitude is just gonna come. You don't even have to focus on gratitude. You're gonna feel thankful because you're gonna realize like Just last year, I wasn't thinking like this. This year, I'm making things happen because I'm commanding them to be true. And you're gonna realize certain people show up, certain people don't. Certain situations show up, certain situations don't. A certain color of car is in your driveway. A certain color is not. You work at a certain place. You don't work at a certain place. You feel what I'm saying? It's like there's going to be a unique set of conditions in your life, and that uniqueness alone is going to make you want to thank the universe for giving you that power to manifest it. And so that's where the thankfulness or the gratification or the gratefulness is just going to come from automatically. So you don't have to force yourself into gratitude. You don't have to force yourself into meditation. Once you see the power, once you start practicing this is just going to come automatically, bro. Either that or you're a robot. I'm telling you right now. So with that said, I want to give you guys homework. I'm going to give everyone homework in the live stream. Your homework is, let me read it so that I don't mess it up. Just so that you know that this works. Because if you try to like go too big, too quick, you'll burn this out. And if you burn this out, it's like, that's it. Let me see where it was. First of all, definitely 100% watch how people are telling you to approach this. Don't, this guy's getting views. This guy is the way that he's marketing his product and what he has to offer to the world is how you put it, is notable, is respectable. But this is for people that consume content quickly. You feel me? This is for people that like quick gratification. You feel me? So you may need this to start. You may need some of his products to start, but eventually you should start seeing this guy as a peer, regardless of your views and all of that stuff, or how whatever I want to say. Regardless of how successful you are, eventually you need to start seeing people like this as a peer, not as a guy to learn from. Because what you will notice is if you go and research some of the stuff that I've said, I'm not doing anything but reminding you of a lot of this stuff. Even though you're like, well, no, I learned a lot. No, I'm reminding you because this ancient knowledge is in your DNA. It's in there and it's going to start to make sense. It's going to start to appeal to you. You're like, damn, okay, I already knew this. I just forgot it after all of these years. But there was something in my spirit that knew it. So then when you look at people like Jim Quick, when you look at people like, name them, anybody, David Goggins, somebody that I look up to. David Goggins, bro. You know, people like that. Like when you look at these people are going to become peers. Fix a particular day to do a live stream. Man, that would be dope. That would really be dope. I'm gonna do these on holidays though, so I'll have enough time to do the research, bro. So my next one is gonna be Christmas Day. Christmas Day. So that'll be December 25th. It's gonna be my next one. So that I give you all of the technical content that I can. But you should see guys like this. Like I know you just mentioned that you look up to Jim Quick. There's a few other people, Earl Nightingale and things like that. Napoleon Hill, name the self-help guy. Got it. These are your peers now, bro. These are not people you look up to anymore. Like I say a lot of times in my live stream, like I look up to Ipsec, I look up to John Hammond, and I look up to Network Chuck and all of these guys. But that's just wordplay for my live streams. Really? They're my peers, bro. I don't care about their subscribers or their success. They are my peers. And I know that because I've only been doing this for months. Some of these guys have been doing this for years. I'm talking about the YouTube thing, by the way, not necessarily my career. My career is like 6 years. YouTube, 4 years. If you look at my success, 700 subscribers. And I know that that's going to take off exponentially. Like 4 months for a lot of people on YouTube, that looks like 100 subscribers. That looks like 50 subscribers. That looks like 20 subscribers in 4 months. So with that level of success, like I'm like, all right, peers. Billy Carson, I don't look at Billy Carson as a peer yet. At some point, as I feel that my knowledge of like forbidden knowledge has stabilized, he'll be my peer as well. But anyone else other than this guy, because this guy has a deep wealth of knowledge that is forbidden, like everybody else that's talking about anything that I can easily Google, peer, period. I don't care. Have you watched Walking Life? I've never even heard of that. Or is it Waking Life? Is it this? Or is it something else? I don't know. I'm gonna tell you, like, it's been. I'll tell you, like, another reason why I'm gonna give you guys homework. I'm not gonna forget that. Another reason why I feel like this podcast, this live stream is so important because a lot of this knowledge that we said, like it takes like people like a lot of years to come up with this stuff, to come up with like the links and things like that. When you listen to people like this, like with the stuff that I'm saying, which I'm just a vessel, by the way. I'm not, I'm a vessel of knowledge. Like I'm nothing, bro. Believe that. Like I am just here to just give you the knowledge, like period. Like other than that, I'm nothing, bro. I'm a humble servant. But anyway, you save a lot of time by having these discussions. A lot of people have been researching this stuff all their lives. I've been researching it for a long time. You just got the Cliff Notes version. And so you can take what I've said, do your own research on that, and now you have probably over hundreds of thousands of years of sustained research in a matter of hours, a matter of 2 hours, which is dope, which is awesome that we can do this in this day and time in 2022. That's awesome. So homework, bro. Homework for everybody. And on Christmas Day, I want to hear everybody's results, bro. I want you to do two things, man. I want you to command all undesirable desires out of your life. It's a movie. It's got interesting philosophical quotes. Human as a collective consciousness. Okay, so we can end it on that. We can talk about that. But for your homework, like anything you're struggling with, whether that's pornography, like if you're trying to do no fab or anything like that, or if you're just trying to like be a better ethical hacker, if you're trying to get into this work, if you're trying to get into this field, if you're trying to get OSCP, if you're trying to get any type of cert, any breakthrough that you're trying to make, I want you to command all of the feelings and the doubts and the fears and all that. I want you to command that shit away. As soon as you get off the live stream, command that away. I don't care if you got to go to your car and scream, I command this out of my life. I don't care if you got to go into a room. I don't care if you got to put on headphones. I don't care if you got to say it in front of your kids and be weird. Command that shit out of your life. And you might have to do that for a few days. No, not a few days, probably like a whole day. Maybe longer. But it's going to get pretty weird, pretty crazy. But command it out of your life. Once you do that, I want you to command the first thing that you want. Like the first thing that pops into your mind. Like when you hear about this stuff, what is the first thing that you want? It don't have to be success related. It could be like a guilty pleasure. Whatever it is, command it into your life. And start to get the ball rolling on that. It could be something like a TV. It could be something like, just make it small enough to where it's like, how do I put it? Make it small enough to where it doesn't affect a whole bunch of people. Like at most, it should affect one or two people at the most. Command something like that into your life. And let me know your results. And depending on your mind's response, you might have to say it multiple times. So yeah, the first thing that I don't want to talk about that. What was I gonna say here? If I wanted to command, let's say, right now, with one of the biggest things that I'm struggling with is I have a newborn in the intensive care unit, and she's been there for a while, bro. It's super duper fucking hard. And I'm commanding her out of that hospital with this power right now. I don't want to get too personal, but it was said that she might have to have a surgery, and I was like, we're not doing that. I'm commanding her to have success. I'm commanding her to have that healing power that she needs to get out of there and continue life with her family, like here where she belongs. And it is probably the most important, probably the reason that I'm on this path, but then it's the most important command that I'm putting out to the universe. And with that said, I can tell you that the progress in her health has been so inspiring, bro. I want to cry right now. Real talk. It's been so inspiring, bro. And I'm not like, this ain't no bullshit, bro. This ain't no shit. Like, I'm not saying this for your clicks. I'm not saying this for your likes, although I do appreciate it, by the way. But I'm not saying this to for any other reason other than the fact that I want you to take advantage of this. I don't even intend to make this channel about this, and I'm telling you this because it's changed my life in that way. Tomorrow I'm going to go back to the technical content as if I never did this live stream. So that should tell you the legitimacy in what I'm talking about right now. Commanding her out of that hospital, and it's been going slower than I want, but the improvement has been inspiring, bro. And yeah. Doctors give you bad news, whatever the case, and you start commanding things to be true. And then the doctors are looking around like, bro, what the hell is going on? We didn't expect this. Okay, well, I guess she's doing better than we thought, right? And that comes with spending a lot of time with her too, so that she feels my consciousness, so that she feels that the electromagnetic spectrum, the ATPs and how they radiate, like all the spiritual properties of me as well. So I'm going to see her, as a matter of fact, in a few minutes, and continuing to command her out of that hospital so that she can spend Christmas with her dad and her mom and her brother. Bro, let me tell you, man. Super important stuff. So yeah, I'm not telling you, bro. You should understand, like, you should see the conviction, bro. Like, I don't care if like you guys that are in the room right now, I don't care if you are the last guys to see this. Like, as long as you take this and improve your life, bro, that's all I care about. So let's talk about collective consciousness, man. So I've dabbled in a theory that we are, first of all, I believe that humans and living beings are multi-planetary. Like, I don't think we know it yet, but the human species has been to multiple planets. I believe that based on things that I've seen on Mars. I appreciate that, bro. It's all love, man. Thank you so much. I do believe, like, based on the success that's why I'm doing this live stream, because I've seen it have success in her life. I've seen it literally affect her life. And I started using it on my money problem. I wouldn't say I had money problems, but I had roadblocks in my way that was hindering my success. So I used it on those money issues there. I started using it on the way that I present myself, the way that I get up, the way that I approach my live streams. I started using it on the way that I approach myself at work. And then I started using it on things that I wanted to get rid of in my life. So that's why I'm here, man. But what was I saying, man? Oh yeah. So collective consciousness, right? I've dabbled in the theory that first, again, we're multiplanetary. At least that's what I believe. We have beings that share the same DNA, that share the same properties, spiritual and physical properties, on multiple planets in the universe. And if you don't believe that, that's fine. But there are multiple writings. These aren't scientific writings. There are multiple spiritual writings that will attest to this, and that will attest to the fact that they once visited this planet and they will return. You don't have to believe that. Just entertain the ideal, at least at minimum, right? But I bring that up to say, all beings in the universe, not just Earth, are on planets so that the universal creator could have a sensor there. What that basically means is the universal creator needs eyes and ears and a nose and a mouth, and pretty much to experience these worlds. So I think that's how we're connected. We're connected because like our ATP in our brain that's downloading and uploading to the universal consciousness, what's happening is the universal consciousness is saying, hey, I need eyes on Earth. Hey, I need eyes on this planet over here. Hey, I need eyes on this star system way 100,000 light years away. And with all of these touch points, now I can see how all of these worlds are doing. And I can have an instantaneous connection, almost like Wi-Fi or some kind of like, we're really just, in my opinion, we're just like small computers here that are like beaconing back to the main creator. And so with that, that's how I believe collective consciousness works. I want to actually look up, is that the correct term? Let's look that up. But I think that's how it works. And so some people may say, well, if it works like that, then why do we have free will? I believe that we have free will specifically for that purpose. Like we're like the universal consciousness or God. Is it waking life? It probably is waking life, bro, because that's all I'm seeing. Yes, it's probably waking life. The universal consciousness experiences the world based on our free will too. So if everybody was 100% positive and doing something with their lives, then the universal consciousness or God or the creator couldn't see those darker sides of the world. So he needs us to have free will so that we have free roam over everything. Deep stuff. Deep stuff. We have free roam, like, so like I believe like the reason why I feel like my life is so important, not more important than others, but I feel like I am one of like a crucial beacon for the universal consciousness is because I grew up in the hoods. I grew up where it was like no food to eat, holes in my shoes, gunshots, people getting shot, and drugs and things like that everywhere, crime and stuff like that. Actually saw somebody get murdered or killed. I said that in my previous podcast where I did it on, what day was that? Not Halloween. It was done on, I did it on a holiday though. So August, I don't know when I did it, but I did it on one of those days. Just out of nowhere, I guess. But I say that to say that I beacon that information back to the universal consciousness. And so now my journey into ethical hacking and pen testing and cybersecurity and threat hunting, I'm beaconing that experience back to him. And then eventually I'll beacon machine learning, deep learning, things like that to him as well. And then eventually I'll experience the world become better based on my contributions. And I'll experience, wealth, health, family, career, education, helping people out, beacon those experiences back to him as well. And then I'll die. And I would have fulfilled my purpose on Earth. And then it'll be the next life with a better body than this. And, I'll have my next line of instructions as far as my definite purpose. I'm pretty sure it'll be similar to this one though. All truly great thoughts are conceived while walking. What? Okay, this isn't it. You gotta be talking about waking life, bro. Ooh, very deep live stream, bro. I hope it doesn't get taken down. Because I had some of those ancient and some of those old, outdated, archaic views on life. Like you have to understand those things so that you understand how to parse information as you grow. So when I talked about certain information was for humans, some certain information was for women and slaves, and other information was for actual men that were changing society. Even though that's a hard pill to swallow, that's just true, man. And you have to realize that that's pervasive today. I would divide it into drifters and non-drifters instead of women and slaves and men, like drifters and non-drifters. For drifters, there's a certain way to talk to drifters so that you can get their instant like or instant gratification, instant response. And then for non-drifters like us, we have to dig deep for the knowledge for whatever reason, because it's not as easy to get. Waking life quotes. A self-destructive man feels completely We all know that the function of media has never been to eliminate the evils of the world. Their job is to persuade us to accept those evils and get used to living with them, bro. That's deep. Yes, this is life. This life is a witness to what happens without God in total control. Yes. Yes, bro. I appreciate that contribution. You want to leave the world in a better place than when you found it. Now, I definitely will 100% sign on to that. 100% will sign on to that. So it's not just about me and my family's problems, although this feels like the biggest thing in the world right now. Once we do overcome this problem with my family, like you'll see me go full force into like my definite purpose. Right now, I'm at like 95%. You want to see me go 100%. 100% is going to feel like I digress. Their job is to persuade us to accept those evils and get used to living with them. The powers that want us to be passive observers, and they haven't given us any other options outside the occasional purely symbolic participatory act of voting. You want the puppet on the right or puppet on the left? I feel like the time has come to project my own inadequacies and dissatisfactions into the social, political, and scientific schemes. Let my own lack of a voice be heard. So the only way that I would change this up is like, because this was my definite purpose. This was how you put it, destiny for me. I never was on the side of us that they're talking here. This us is for someone that hasn't woken up, like that hasn't. Maybe at one point I was us here, but I'm not us anymore here. I know that the media is out to force people to accept evils and get used to living with them. I know that. So for me, I'm not us anymore. I'm on the other side now, bro. And I believe that everybody in this room that's listening is on the other side. So, yeah. Not to separate myself from all other men, but when we're talking specifically in this context, I am not us anymore. I'm on the other side. That I know that, and I completely avoid all of these effects that the media would like to impose upon people. But that would just be my take from that. Other than that, that's beautifully written and definitely poignant. Is that the right word? Poignant? Pertinent is probably weird one. Let me read it. Let me fucking. Okay, that was not the word. Or maybe it was. Poignant is how you say that word. I try to like be on my big words here sometime. Let's read some more of these. Are these it, by the way? I don't want to just be reading stuff. Give to Caesar's what is his. Follow your creator. Do not follow man. Yeah, I agree. I was just telling them, like, I don't ever want to see a guy like don't get me wrong. Like, I learned things from certain men, but at some point, a man should become your peer. Like, just like if we bring it back to technical stuff for a minute, like at one point I looked up to IPSEC, but IPSEC eventually became a peer, bro. IPSEC, and he will eventually become your peer as well. You know, if I'm not your peer already, which I should be, at some point I will become your peer. Like in that, like you don't look up to me. I don't want you to look up to me now, but if you do, that's okay. And like I want you to get on your grind and get this information so that eventually we become peers, bro. Because that's what it's really about. Yeah. So, two kinds of sufferers in this world: those who suffer from a lack of life, and those who suffer from an abundance of life. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. These are getting a little bit too abstract, and I like technical information, like information that you can like take and immediately act on. So, but yes, definitely beautiful quotes. But yeah, I want everybody to yeah, there you go. And again, I'm not here to start my own group, bro. Although like I appreciate y'all being here, but like I'm just a dude. Like seriously, I'm just a dude with a definite purpose. So we can go out and get this information, but I don't want to like I'm not in it to control you. I'm not here to like none of that, bro. I'm just here to like just spread the knowledge. You get it, bro. I'm not here to control you though, like for real. Like experience all that life has to offer and be a leader. That's my charge to you. And again, try this mentality out. Try this command focus mentality out, because the minute you get on your knees and beg, bro, the minute you get on your knees and beg, you're not my friend anymore. You're on the other side, bro. You're on the drifting side. Do not ever get on your knees and beg. Do not ever get on your knees and ask. You've already been given the power to create and manifest your life. When you get on your knees to pray, command and thank. Command, and after you command, you can give gratitude for the thing happening in your life. But please don't get on your knees and beg. Please don't get on your knees and ask, because all you're doing at that point, I'm gonna change my battery here. But all you're doing at that point is creating a circle of uselessness. The creator has already given you the power to make things, because if that wasn't the case, you would just be like floating on a bed of nothing. Like seriously, you would be floating on a bed of nothing, bro. So you've already created. Why would you create? Like you already created, like let's say you're 18 years old. You've already manifested 18 years of life and survivorship and things in your life and pleasures and like all of the experiences life has to offer. And then you get to a certain spot and now you're asking and you're begging and you're crying and you're, don't get me wrong, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mourning. Like it's okay to mourn, but you're on your knees and you're asking and you're begging and you're pleading instead of tapping into the ability to create, the ability to move things, the ability to have a life that you want. You're not tapping into that when you're begging and you're crying and you're pleading. So please, command spirit has been given to you, bro. So I'm going to get off unless anyone has anything else. I appreciate you guys attending. If I were you, if I had some time today, I wouldn't let this be my final stop, bro. I would definitely try to go after more knowledge. Santa Claus hat. I don't know what the hell. Oh, it's like a Grinch hat, bro. It was under my desk. My son plays in here a lot. Yes. I'm glad you guys came with an open mind. I know for 100% you didn't agree with everything in here, and that's fine. You're supposed to be a thinker. You're supposed to be a thinker. You were born to be a thinker. You're not supposed to be an acceptor. You're not supposed to sit here and accept everything that I said here, because that's not how it works. You think, you deduce, you create your own scenarios and conclusions about things, and you move on. That's how it works. So I'm glad I thought that I would have some arguments or some people that were pissed off in here. I didn't. I'm thankful for that. I'm glad we got past that part. But again, the intent here is to say, okay, I have the information. I can cross out certain stuff. I can highlight certain stuff. I can go after more stuff. And then I can create my own reality now. And I can go after things that are fascinating to me. And if they're not, or if I think they're stupid, or if I think that this guy is like totally crazy, I can reject it. So thank you for watching. I am available if you want to talk, bro. Let me see if I have I'm available at this right here. This Discord tag. Damn main 0246. I'm here, bro. Just holler at me. I know, and then this is for people that will watch this live stream after the fact as well. Still hit me up, ask me for things. Other than that, I'm gonna go back to my definite purpose here. And then I'll see you guys like on this tip, on this type of vibe on Christmas Day. Be safe. Namaste. You are a celestial being in this universe, and you are highly favored. You have the stuff of God. You have the creative ability of the universal creator. Go out and use it, bro.